Tracy.
Good. I'm here with my friend Stephanie Watanabe from San Francisco, the girl who knows. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tracy Matthews. And we are here today because we want to talk about our amazing experience with B School. The two of us were having lunch. Stephanie was in New York visiting her brother, and we had lunch last weekend, and we were just like gushing about the changes in our lives for Stephanie since last year, and for me from 2 years ago when I first did B School. So we're having this little informal interview with each other to talk about and tell you what our life is like now and what it was like then. So Steph, I'm going to ask you questions first, and then you can ask me whatever you want. And the first thing I want to ask you is, what's different in your life since you started? Since you took the program last year?
Since I took B School?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, everything. I mean, I was telling you this at lunch, I think, a little bit, but we didn't really go too deep into it. I mean, my life has radically changed. I've done a lot of things in my life. Most recently, I was a filmmaker, film producer, which is sort of my first love as a child and then growing up. And
yeah.
It wasn't making me happy anymore. And I found B School like right at this time when I was transitioning, and it helped me to, stop doing things that weren't serving me anymore. It helped me to actually launch my blog. It helped me to understand what kind of business I want to have and what kind of life I want to have, which, to me is one of the most important things.
Most important thing.
What kind of lifestyle. And not to mention, at a time when you're going through any kind of transition like I was, just the community of women and, the select few smart men who were there.
Right.
The community of women, it was amazing. I mean, just the support. I found a life coach. I found just a group of women that were super awesome and supportive unconditionally. So everything radically changed for me, and it continues to change. So actually, I'm really excited to do B School again.
Yay, me too.
I think you're probably going to do it too.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, of course. It's lifetime access, which is genius. And I'm excited to do it now because I'm actually in a place with my business where I have a business, and I'm ready to now take it to the next step. And it's no longer about transitioning; it's about like stepping fully into my business. So B School, it just continues to evolve. It's like it's never over, even though it's only 8 weeks?
Yeah, it's just 8 weeks.
It just keeps going.
But it's like a lifetime.
So anyway, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, pretty much everything changed.
So tell me, I'm going to ask you about your business because we were talking about it. Stephanie is has the coolest business ever, and I love it. So tell me about your business.
So I have a business called Knows.
Wait, say that again, just one more time, so people can.
It's called The Girl Who Knows.
Okay, because you're the girl who knows. You know everything, girl.
Yeah. I know everything, and so it's a pretty big title. It's quite intimidating, actually. But it's pretty fun. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm completing up a coaching program. So I'm doing lifestyle and business coaching and consulting for creative small business owners and entrepreneurs. So
I like it.
Really, right? It's kind of everyone.
Yeah. Everyone's creative. I mean, most people are creative. Entrepreneurs are definitely creative. Solopreneurs, for sure, creative. You got to be, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. And specifically, filmmakers and artists and, designers and photographers and things like that, because I speak the language of creative.
Yes.
But I also know how to help you go, and push you onto the next platform, and launch your projects. So it's a little bit of that. And then The Girl Who Knows is also a place where I write about all the different things that I love that I've come across through my travels in my life. Everything from books to services to jewelry designers.
Yay!
To restaurants, places to go in the cities that you're visiting. And it's highly curated, so I only write about things that I've actually tried and that I love. And there's a lot of fun little juicy plans that are coming up for the Girl Who Knows. So that's just
Uh,
a taste of what it is, but it's going to blossom this year, I have a feeling. So
I can't wait because, like, girl, you know. And it's funny because Stephanie kind of and I kind of met each other. Our lives have crossed weird paths over the years because I used to live in San Francisco and now I'm in New York. And Stephanie is in San Francisco and was just visiting New York. But I was teaching yoga at a spa there called International Orange, which had a beautiful yoga space. And Stephanie was working there at the time. So it's just random how
yeah,
life brings you together in random ways. So I
so
wanted to
true.
ask.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and then Marie brings us
I
together
know,
again.
Marie brings us together. So I wanted to ask you one more question,
Yeah.
because I know that there were some hesitations. What were the things that were kind of holding you back or preventing you from maybe thinking, oh, I shouldn't do B school? Like, why? What
Well,
was it
yeah,
for
I
you?
mean, it's a big purchase. So I'll say that, up front. I mean, I know that a lot of people probably feel that way, like, oh my gosh, this is almost, what is it, almost $2,000, just under. What am I don't know. I don't really have a business, or even if I do have a business, is this worth it? So there was also a lot of questions. And even though, I think Marie for sure and the entire B School crew like really gives a lot of feedback and answers around those questions, there's still that like lingering
Yeah,
doubt. Like, am I going to really get my money's worth?
right.
And for me, another one was, am I actually going to use what I'm learning? Because I
Right,
am an information junkie. I mean, as the girl who knows, I love to learn and
right.
absorb. So I've done a lot of courses, a lot. And I just thought, well, is this going to be like another one, or I just kind of like
Right,
watch it and then I don't do anything?
right. It's,
So
yeah,
there was right? I mean, it's definitely something to think about,
yeah,
but there was a lot of concerns around that piece. But I have to say that it paid for itself like times 100. And it's not just about whatever financial results you see, which I think are really great. I think it's personal benefits, lifestyle benefits, spiritual benefits.
right.
There's so much that comes out of doing a program like this. It's really hard to even really say how impactful it
Yeah,
is.
it's not
So
some of the results aren't even tangible, I would say.
exactly.
Right. Tangible
And
in like a physical like sense, but I
yeah.
know that you were saying like we were both saying like our lives are so much better than before. So,
Yeah, and to be honest, like I did B school once, and at the beginning of that, first B school, I didn't have a business, so for me going through it the first time was
right.
slightly premature, but I have to say, like the life benefits that I've gotten from it, the amount of self confidence that it's given me, the knowledge, the community. It's even if you don't have a solid business
Yeah.
yet, I think it will help you get clear on what that's going to be for yourself. So it's worth doing either way. Whether you have the business, you're just
Right.
starting out, you're a seasoned professional, whatever. Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I think you told me that some of your business ideas came from interactions with B schoolers, didn't they? And then the girl who knows kind of evolved out of that.
Yeah,
And so you wouldn't
totally.
have a business if you didn't join or you weren't in B school, right?
No, no, not at all. I mean, the name "The Girl Who Knows" actually came via my coach Sally Hope, who's also a B
Who is
schooler.
awesome. If you guys can get
Was
on her
so
list, she's so
awesome.
cool.
SallyHope.com.
Yeah,
She is the shit.
she's rad.
Anyway, so I randomly was talking to her about this, and she's like, my friend just told me the greatest name on the planet for this blog of yours, and I went online, registered it. So, the ideas, the inspiration, it's just like this amazing community. So yeah, it's totally a no-brainer, even though it might seem like it's a little,
Seems
pricey.
huge for most
It seems
people.
huge. It seems huge. I mean, I have to say that you just kind of have to bite the bullet and do it. It's an investment in you and your business, in your life,
Right.
really.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yay.
So I want to ask you some
Okay.
questions.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me about your business just a little bit, and how your business evolved and changed over the last 2 years that you've been a part of the B School community.
It's changed so much. So I'm a jewelry designer and a yoga teacher, and someone who likes to share amazing information with the world. So I don't really know what that's called yet. I call myself a curator, but that's still evolving. So we'll see what happens. But
You're also the girl who knows.
what'd you say?
I said you're also
The
who
girl who
knows.
knows, but in a different kind of way, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe more for like yoga and jewelry stuff and other cool people, like cool people that I know, right?
Yeah.
So I had a business for 11 years, which I shut down at the end of 2009. And it was a jewelry company, and I had a lot of success with that company. Kind of took a big hit when the financial crisis happened, and I gave up the fight. I mean, there's so much more to the story, but the short of the long is that I just gave up the fight, and I didn't want to do it anymore. And if I start crying, sorry guys, but still a little bit emotional to me because that was like my first child. It's like losing a baby. So I was kind of, took a few months off and I just started picking up and teaching a lot of yoga. I always have taught yoga, but I was like teaching yoga pretty much full time. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just be a full-time yoga instructor. But jewelry kept coming back to me. Like people were still finding me. Like my old fans were like, where have you gone? Why haven't we seen emails? Like what happened? I still want that piece of jewelry that I saw like 2 years ago. I still get emails from people saying, I want this. I lost my favorite necklace. Like, sorry. So it was still coming back. And then I had slowly started transitioning into just working with a few select people that I wanted to work with to design engagement rings and wedding bands. And as I started unfolding in that process, this company started to evolve. And it sort of spawned out of this idea that I wanted to start working just directly with customers. And before, my business model was like a wholesale model. I primarily sold to retail stores, and we were in like 300 stores around the world and all that stuff. It was just like something completely different, like selling or shipping 1,000 units a month. And now I was just like, I want a better life. I don't want the stress. I don't want to be spending my time running a business. I want to spend my time creating. And I just didn't know how to get back to that. So it's funny. So 6 months kind of went by and the summer happened and I had connected with some amazing people in New York. And one of them was my friend Kate Muller, Kate Northrup Muller, who is also B-schooler and an awesome chick. You should find her online. I think her website is katenorthrup.com. I think. I'm not sure. I don't think that Sally and Kate expected us to plug them either. This will be a surprise to them.
They deserve it.
They do deserve it. So I had connected with Kate, and she sent out an email one day. She came around and feng shuied my house because I was trying to bring more money into my apartment, or money into my life. And so she sent out an email called the Instant Moneymaker Campaign, and I was like, dude, this is like right up my alley. I'm trying to make more money. Like, what can I do to make more money? So it was a link to Marie's video, her Instant Money Maker Campaign, and sort of like this little walkthrough about how you can use your contacts and connections to generate, income fast. And that sounds a little bit cheesy, but I tried it out and it worked. And at the time I was selling yoga privates, and I sold out of my offering within 36 hours, which I think is amazing. And then I was on the list and started getting the B-School lead up, and I was like, I didn't know anything about marketing myself online. I'd done it for years, but in a totally different way. And it wasn't as important because I was really working with wholesale buyers and meeting them at trade shows, and we emailed, but it wasn't like I needed to find new stores by marketing to retail stores online. It just wasn't how it was done back then. So it is done that way now, but it wasn't how it was done back then. So I was like, you know what, I think this might be good for me, because if I really want to make a shift and switch in this new direction, working directly with clients, I have clients all over the world, right, who are already fans of mine. The only way I'm going to be able to do it is if I market to them online, because I'm not going to be able to see most of them in person. I do have clients in New York who I meet in my office, but most of the people I talk to are via Skype or on the phone, or we just email. Like I don't meet with people. I don't have samples to even show them. It's like we're working together to create something. So That was August of 2010, and I was featured in Marie's video. Some of you might have seen it, and I said 2009, but it was actually 2010, so it's even better story because it's a shorter amount of time. So at that point, think I had like one client who was buying a wedding band for him and his wife, or his fiance, I guess they were getting married, and the total sale or revenue was about $2,000. And that's a little bit low. Like it was a little bit low for what I was doing, but I was like kind of in this like feast or famine mode. I'm like, I need to take anything that comes along because I didn't know when the next thing was going to come. And teaching yoga is a really honorable job, but most yoga teachers don't get paid that much. And I live in New York; it's expensive. So I was like, I got to do something. So B School came around, and I was like, oh my God, I'm doing it. And then I looked at the thing, and I was like, holy shite, excuse my language, it's expensive. So I thought about it for a little bit. And I think I signed up on the last day. And I was like, you know what? Something is telling me I have to do it. My gut. And I had spent a lot of time listening to my head, and I needed to learn to trust my gut. So I did it. Within a month, I could say my life dramatically changed. And it's funny, I was dating a guy at this time, I probably shouldn't say this, but he would do some of the modules and we would be like fighting over, I'm like, they know what they're talking about. And I was totally right because I'm not going to mention anything about it, but where I am now compared to how like I was back then is dramatically different. I was in just a terrible place, like personally. I felt really bad. I felt like a failure. I had a lot of shame too because I was embarrassed. Like I had driven my business into the ground, and like it's still so emotional. My voice is like getting a little bit shaky, but I literally like had to pretty much face the music. Like I'm done. Like I'm done as a designer. Like how can I evolve, and how can I do this? And maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I just live a different life. So it gave me hope, which was the first thing, and I need to take a breath. And then, and then things started dramatically shifting. My relationship with myself changed, and it's interesting because the relationship I was speaking of ended shortly thereafter. I wish him the best; he's a good guy, but it wasn't the right thing for me, and everything that wasn't working for me started spinning out of my life. And sometimes I didn't understand it at the time. I was like, oh, wait, I'm not ready to get rid of that. Oh, wait. When I identified what I wanted, which was freedom, to design and create, to work with people, to create something that is for them, to create something that someone loves more than I do. I mean, that's when I know I've won. And also I think to be happy, that was like the biggest thing because I wasn't happy. So, wow, fast forward 2 years, things have dramatically changed for me. My $2,000 went to $30,000 a month, which I booked.
Still cannot get over that. I mean, that is like, that is so major.
It is so major. And actually things are going like super well this month too. I like all of a sudden all this stuff's coming in. It's like it's crazy when you change your attitude and you value yourself, I think internally, and what you have to offer to the world, everyone else starts to value you as well. Because what I will say to all of you who are watching this video is that you are amazing, and you just need to understand that about yourself. And that's what I didn't get. And I think the number one, besides being happy, because really being happy was the number one thing, but I really wanted to be myself in my brand. And I felt like I was always editing myself before or trying to like be something I wasn't. And when I was doing that, that's when like, I would have a collection that bombed, or buyers were right about to sign on the paper, and then they're like, oh, we're just going to pass this time, or something like that.
Or you get those clients that are nightmares.
Oh yeah, or you're getting the ones who are like nickel and diming you after everything. Yeah. And I was just like, no, that's not what I want. I can't do it anymore. It's too emotionally draining. And things have changed. I mean, there's so many other things that have changed, and it's not just a monetary thing for me. For me, it was more about the way I feel about myself, my business, my brand. And then talking about what you spoke about earlier is this community of women. I like have made some of the best friends of my life through this group. And I just wish everyone was in New York so we could hang out all the time
I know.
because it's just, or if we were all just in the same place. But there are times when we get to do that, but it's not often enough. And I'm just like really grateful to be connected with so many amazing people who are life changers, game changers, and who are in this same kind of positive space. I mean, it's like, it's insane. So
It's insane.
anyway,
It's totally insane. And what's
yeah.
amazing is that they're all doing the same thing we're doing, which is like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
you look
true.
at those. It's like most of my friends, God bless them, and I love all of them, are not doing the same thing I'm doing. So I think maybe they think I'm crazy. I mean, just
No,
a
they do.
little.
My friends think I'm
Just
crazy,
a
but that's
little.
okay. They still love me.
They see exactly. Family too.
Yes,
So to have such a support group, yeah, it's just priceless. It really is. It's worth the price of admission alone for sure.
it is. Absolutely.
Yay.
So what else? Do you have any other questions for
Um,
me?
what else? I don't know. I mean, I think that's it.
Well,
That's
I wanted to just add something if I can, because I
yeah,
know a lot
yeah,
of people are like the people that I've spoken to, because I'm so passionate about this. I mean, I'm like shouting out the window of my apartment, like, you have to do B school. It's so awesome. You know, it's like changed my life. And the one thing I would say, and like the thing that a lot of people have said to me is like, well, one of my friends recently said to me, like, well, I don't really have a business and I'm not sure what I'm doing with it. So like, I think you would be a good person for me to like connect her with if she's like interested in doing it. But
yeah,
the other thing, and I think my biggest fear in signing up was really the expense at that time, because I'm not really afraid of a lot. Like I do a lot of personal growth stuff, so like it was really exciting for me to like sort of make the time for this. I was really freaking busy at the time. I know it sounds like I wasn't, but when you teach like 15 yoga classes a week, that's like working 40 to 60 hours a week because of the amount of commuting time and energy you have to put into it. So time is usually one thing, but I somehow like squeezed in and made the time, you know. But the bigger thing was the expense. Like I was freaking out. Like I didn't have any money. Like I had started to drain. I like drained through like all of my savings because I just like shut down my business. You know what I mean? And like it
yeah,
was pretty scary. But I was like something something shifted the second I started, and you know, even if it wasn't like immediate in some cases, like there are so many people there who just like elevate you and lift you up and give
yeah.
you like and make you believe in yourself. Like I don't know what to say about it other than that. And then they become your biggest fans because um, so here is a good story that I wanted to share, and I've been sharing it with a couple of my friends lately. So we talked about this community of women, and I can track back in the last like probably 6 months. And you know, because people like to talk about numbers, and this is where I can like probably communicate the best of how like of the physical benefits that this program has done for me within this last 6 months, maybe a little bit. So I started really like working like sort of partnerships with these women and like getting involved in like discussing like how we can work together. And within the last 6 months, through not only personal referrals from them, from actual B schoolers working directly with me, and through a few affiliate partnerships that I did with only like 3 people, I think, I generated $75,000 in revenue just from that.
Yeah.
And
That's
you know, everyone's business is a
amazing.
little bit different. Jewelry is expensive, so there is a cost associated with it. But but even if you like did some partnerships and made an extra 10 grand in 6 months, like in addition to what you're making now, like that would change your life. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
And
honestly,
you would
even like
easily.
even a couple hundred, couple $1,000s,
Yeah.
like anything is more than what you're already doing now.
Yeah.
So the
And
benefits can only,
right.
go up.
It's true. So anyway,
That's amazing. That's really amazing. And
if I had
you know,
pom
I
poms, I'd be shaking them right now. Like if
I
I'm so not a
would be
cheerleader, but if I was, I'd be doing high
me too.
kicks and
Me too.
backflips.
It might hurt my back right now, but
Yeah,
I
don't do
was
it. You
on a
just got off a
plane for
plane.
six
I
hours.
know.
So thank you you so much for sharing. I learned a ton actually about your story just now. So
thank
so
you
amazing.
too.
I love seeing it, and I love the two different places that we're both at. Like, I still feel like I'm growing, and it's all sort of coming together and like gelling. And you're established and doing all this great stuff. So it's like, the two ends of the spectrum, we're able to show people like, look, it's working for everybody.
Yeah.
I was able to spend 2.5 weeks in New York City because of doing B school. I mean, directly because of doing B school, allowing myself that freedom to be where I need to be inspired, to create. So there's just so much. You got to do it.
And I was just in Bali for 3 weeks. Hello. Yeah. Working from Bali. I can't think of anything better than that. I'll take it every year.
By the way, next time I'm going with you.
Okay, perfect. We'll plan our Girl Who Knows / curator retreat and maybe some other destination besides Bali, since we've already been. But I would go back in a second anyway.
Maldive Islands. I could do the Maldive Islands.
I want to do that too. I'm so done. I need to learn to dive.
Bungalows over the water.
Oh my God, fun. Amazing.
So anyway, people, you see, this is exactly how the ideas come about with your fellow B schoolers.
I know, we're babbling at this point. We should let them go.
All right.
So good to talk to you, girl, and this was so awesome. I can't wait to hang out with you again soon when you come back to see your brother.
Yeah, absolutely, or when you're out here, and then I'll definitely see you inside B school in a few weeks.
Yay! Okay, bye. Bye, you guys. Thanks for watching.